Welcome back. In January 2023, Kevin McCarthy was elected House Speaker after a historic and very chaotic 15 roll call votes. Former top McCarthy aide John Leganski looks back on that grinding political process in a book called Glory, Grief, and the Gavel, an inside guide to running for Speaker of the House. I spoke with him about that process, elongated though it was, and a lot of other topics in American politics. Here is some of that conversation. The book is about the ascendancy of Kevin McCarthy to the speakership. We'll get to that, I promise you. But is it possible, John, that his removal as Speaker was foreshadowed by the way he became Speaker?
Perhaps, and I know I've heard that from a lot of folks. First of all, thanks for having me on,
Sure.
Major. I appreciate it. But, one thing we really understood innately with these tight margins is your job's on the line every day when you're Speaker of the House. You're at the mercy of 218 individuals, right? And so although a lot's been made about the motion to vacate, there's other ways to remove a Speaker. You can just sit on your hands and not vote for a rule. You could do a discharge petition to remove a Speaker. You could overturn the ruling of the chair that a motion to vacate's not in order. And so I think we got comfortable with the idea that, listen, every single day of the week, our job's on the line. We were willing to put our best out there and see what it led to. But we did have a group that was not going to go along, and I think we recognize that as well.
And that truism, that there were lots of different ways in which you could oust a Speaker elected by your party, is that, from your vantage point, John, now that you're on the outside, something that any majority party who wants to run the House effectively better come to grips with? Because if your leadership lives in constant sort of fear that one or two discontented members can topple your speakership, how effective, how aggressive, how courageous can you be?
Yeah. Well, I think, and I think Kevin might have had to have been a sacrificial lamb for that cause, because we did see Mike Johnson as well face a motion to vacate resolution that thankfully a bipartisan majority of Democrats and Republicans stepped in and tamped down. I think if you gave truth serum to most House Democrats, they would admit that what they did to Kevin was not the right thing for the institution. But sometimes you have to touch the stove.
Right.
And we saw those 3 weeks where we didn't have a leader. It was very dangerous. Israel was attacked in that period of time.
Right.
The
October
House could
7th
not,
happened.
Exactly. Just that weekend after. The House could not act. We were paralyzed.
Completely paralyzed.
And I think if you're a strong Article I advocate like I am, if you're an advocate for the House of Representatives, being a voice in this government, you should be an advocate for a strong speaker, whether that's Republican or Democrat. And so I think hopefully all the members that are around during that time internalize that moving forward.
Quick civics lesson, Article 1 enumerates the powers of Congress. That's why it's first, which I know you care about.
Yes, absolutely. And the first officer listed in the Constitution is the Speaker.
Right. So the title of the book is Glory, Grief, and the Gavel. Washington loves alliteration, so well played there. An inside guide to running for the Speaker of the House. Another title of the book could be, You Have to Be Able to Count and You Can't Quit. Subtitle, Matt Gaetz is a Weasel.
I'm not a fan of Matt's. You do need to be able to count.
Clearly not a fan.
No. He knows that. And I say in the end...
He's portrayed as a weasel throughout the book.
Well, and there's a saying that I think is true. If you seek revenge, dig two graves. Matt really wanted to stop us in January from becoming Speaker. That's what I think the removal was about as well. It was not about policy, right? All those individuals that voted against Kevin, they voted for continuing resolutions 7 more times in the 2 years that followed. So it was not about those issues. It
right,
was
because
about
Kevin was ousted theoretically because he agreed to have Democrats come aboard for a continuing resolution.
30-day government funding bill at a flat funding level, which again, as I note in the book, we adopted 7 more of those in the 2 years to come. So
it couldn't have been about that, is your point.
No, I don't believe it was. And
so what was it about?
Again, I think Matt had an agenda in January to stop Kevin from being Speaker. He almost succeeded. I write about the book, about the 15 rounds, how we had to break them and go around him. But then I think he saw some discontent in the ranks and seized, the option in the removal vote. But again, it led to his downfall as well. And, the House suffered, obviously, in those 3 weeks. But again, I hope in the long term, folks see we can't go down that path again.
How do you evaluate the speakership of Mike Johnson?
I think he's doing a good job. I'm a golfer. I don't know if you are, Major. But
I am. I'm a terrible golfer, but I do play.
Well, you'll like this saying.
One of my afflictions in life.
You'll like this saying as a House Republican, I believe, there's no pictures on a scorecard. Right? So it doesn't always look pretty, but if you get the job done, that's all that counts. And they've gotten the reconciliation bill done. They've gotten all the must-pass bills done. And so I think he's doing a great job.
And you have to play it as it lays.
That's right. That's right. And it's a very tight margin, right? No one knows that more than we did. And that's the newest, I think, facet of the House that people need to think about moving forward is the battlefield has shrunk. It's going to be one way or another, I think, give or take 10 seats in the House. And so you have to deal with the members you have. Any member wakes up on a certain day of the week in a bad mood, you got to deal with them. But Mike's doing a great job. I know a lot of people on his staff, they're doing a great job. And far be it from me to throw stones at the people that are in the arena.
You can listen to my full and very nerdy conversation with John Leganski on your favorite podcast platform.